Hey, international
la
edition.
la.
International edition.
Oh la la.
Marcus is
Bonjour.
en français.
Добрый день.
Where the fuck are you, man?
En français. I'm hanging out outside of a Roman room, as you can tell,
Oh yeah, exactly.
in Switzerland. I'm in the township of Nyon. Welcome to Nyon
You've been on
on the Lake Genève.
Marc Guimond European tour.
I am on the international man of mystery. Been flying around the world. My accent, the world. I turned it from bad French to a bad German accent.
Yeah,
like that.
That's Europe, bro.
I am
That's
shit
Europe.
at
You cross the border. You're like in a different country now.
Dude.
You know, that's how that shit works out there.
Yeah, I'm fucking terrible at it. Yeah, bro.
I got to say that I hate you for being over there having the best time of your life, and you keep sending me shit, and I'm like sitting in Victoria, looking at some crackhead and a tourist interact, and I'm just like, Mark's like looking at some beautiful art and like sipping some beautiful wine.
Dude, I'm fucking I literally had drinks. I was drinking a Negroni with like one of the head people from Dior in fucking Canada.
No, you weren't.
Cool, son. Yeah.
Like Rando, or you're in the same party?
We met up for drinks, dog. I mean, I was ultimately the hanger on, but like, I was fucking drinking with this French woman. She's like the head Dior marketing in Paris.
I was just looking at some turtles in Beacon Hill yesterday. That's what I was doing. You're hanging out with the Dior guy, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was drinking fucking $18 Negronis. 18 euro Negronis, so that's like $25 Negronis.
Yeah.
At the fucking Cannes Film Festival.
Worth every second.
And I was in the French Riviera. Eating pears.
See? Sounds amazing. So what have you seen? What are the highlights of things you've seen? Because how many countries have you been to so far? Let's just throw that out there.
Okay.
List them.
I went to the French Riviera. So I flew into the Cannes Film Festival. And like, boy, are my arms tired.
No.
No.
Okay.
South of France. Dude, the Mediterranean, wherever you go, French Riviera, magnifique. Then I guess Monaco. I went to fucking Formula 1 in Monaco.
Back to back.
Bro.
Just went to Cannes and the Formula 1. Yeah.
Well, I went to Cannes, and then there's a town on Thebes, which is like one of the largest yacht dock area towns in the French, or in the Mediterranean. It's also where like Pablo Picasso lived a lot. So they have one of his there's like a big museum. On Thebes. Cannes is really cool. It's very like, picture like a James Bond movie. Like that's where James Bond's getting his dick sucked, fucking playing cards and shit.
Yeah.
Doing like a car chase. And on Thebes is like a fucking medieval town. Like it was like medieval. Like it's like windy and small and like close to. It's fucking awesome. Little restaurants and fucking patios everywhere.
That's where Formula 1 was?
No, and then I took the train 45 minutes through Nice, pronounced Nice, into Monaco. So that's country number 2, the Principality of Monaco. It's like a little fucking city area between France and Italy. It's fucking dope. It's actually gorgeous. Watched F1. Yeah, it's his own country. Dude, it's fucking. Dude, Monaco is sick. I got fucking blasted off beer with all these English dudes. The Mexican guy, Sergio Perez, won. Shout out to Sergio Perez. So there was just tons of Mexicans that flew there, getting fucking down.
My people,
just going nuts.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Mexicans. And then I went to this English bar and Slammers. Let's go to Slammers. Let's go back to Slammers. See, my accents are shitty. So we went to this bar called Slammers where all these English expats were. And there was a dude with like a guitar and like a saxophone literally singing Wonderwall. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are they obnoxious as you think they are? Like British tourists who are just like.
British people are fucking wild. They're hilarious. But they're wild. But this car stopped and I guess it was like, oh, the princess and prince are coming through. And I was like, is that Princess Di? Like drunkenly? And all these British people turned to me. I'm like, I got to stop. I'm going to get fucking murdered.
Yeah, that's not funny. Too soon.
South of France.
Still too soon.
Monaco, dope. Dude, stopped at Nice on the way back we went and got French tacos. Let me tell you, you could live your life without eating a French taco, and you'll not regret it.
Yeah.
They're like wraps. They're like
What's the point?
they're like just it's like ham and fucking cheese. Yeah, dude, they're disgusting. They're like shitty burritos. They're actually like burritos, but like bad. Dude,
Right.
French food, delicious. Tacos, they fucked up. Also,
why do another country's food? Why try it?
Dude, they're obsessed with poke bowls.
Really?
The French are obsessed with I can't escape poke bowls, dude.
I thought I left Vancouver. Poke bowls are good.
Dude, the French fucking love poke bowls.
Good. I'm with them. Congratulations, France.
It was funny.
You figured it out.
Yeah.
And then you went to Serbia?
No, we went then I went to Switzerland, to Geneva, Lake Geneva. So I'm staying outside Nyon. This is the crazy thing about Europe. These pillars where I'm staying right now, talking to you, Chris Hernandez, halfway across the world, my friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
This Roman pillar, for people who don't know, this background is a Roman pillar overlooking Lake Geneva with the French Alps in the background. Beautiful scenery. This is like a fucking 10-minute walk from. This is a park in Nyon, this town, this medieval town outside of. It's just like
they just deep historical monument.
Roman, this is a Roman ruin. Romans were here. They built this shit, and you're like, oh, there's like a dog pissing on it, and you're like, wow.
Well, is that culture. The vibe there? Is the vibe there like everyone's kind of over it, but like all the tourists are like, wow, that's amazing, and they're taking pictures?
Yeah, I think it's almost like you know how like you and I and like everybody, most people who are listening to this are like chilling in the West Coast, and you're like on a ferry or like driving around, and you're like, yeah, cool, like fucking
seen this a million times.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Because like for me, I'm like, this is fucking insane. Like just like the architecture.
Yeah.
Like you walk around the town, there's like a castle in the middle of the fucking town with like bars around it, but it's like a fucking castle, and you're like, okay, cool, and people are just like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
that's like us at the beach or walking in the woods. It's like, yes.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah, I'm like, oh great,
I'm bored of this.
A gorgeous ancient tree, or like, you know, a beautiful fucking fjord of the Sailor Sea with like killer whales swimming around and like mountains, and you know, I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
Because Switzerland, I went around on a wine tour, which was fucking awesome. When we drove to this the other part of the lake, and it's like these villages, like you're in these little villages, and like you get a wristband and you go around and drink wine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the fucking, like, it's insane how fucking nice it is. These like little villages, and you're like, fuck, man, like, but that's just a fucking like small town. Like nobody, like, they're just like, yeah, it's nice. There's like, meh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, it breaks one's brain. So I went from Switzerland, then I went into fucking Serbia and Belgrade. And I gotta say, man, Belgrade is the fucking, like, Switzerland's boring. Belgrade is anything but.
Belgrade that seems like the most fun. From what you shared with me, that seems
Belgrade is the most fun. Belgrade, and then London, but which I'll say in a sec. But Belgrade is fucking. It's a big city, and it's very compact, and the architecture is fucking awesome. And there's just fucking everybody's out. There's just life, like there's everybody's just having coffee and eating fucking their barbecue shit. Like it's called I'm gonna mispronounce it. It's called Rostil. Rostil. And it's like basically it's just various forms of grilled meat.
Yeah.
And they're eating fucking heaps of grilled meat and fucking drinking fucking alcohol or coffee, and they're fucking, you know, they're talking and they're discussing, and there's art shows. Like there'll be a fucking salsa club, open air. People will be fucking like salsa dancing. There'll be an art exhibit. There'll be some weird hipster guy who has I went to some weird to some art exhibit in the city that we just walked to. And it was like a dude built a machine that visualizes sound waves.
Mm-hmm.
So he literally had this machine going, and it had and then he had paintings of it. Like he took pictures and did like art.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like pictures or paintings, but he also like had this machine, and it was like creating these different fucking images, and it was just like some weird guy. And then, you know, there's just, and then you go to a record, you know, you go to like a fucking bar, and there's a record store in the bar, or you go to a wine bar on a fucking terrace, and there's just, or you go to it's just like, there's so much fucking life. Like Like you're never bored.
Do you think that's like more than any other city though? Really, or is it just kind of just like nice to see?
The city, I think it's one of the top. Because like the cities around here, like you can go to like Athens or like Sofia or like Budapest, and like they don't quite have that. Like there's Belgrade is like a jewel, especially for a city its size. It's not the biggest city, because like for the amount of stuff to do, it's comparable to like it's like Berlin or like Paris or like.
That's fun.
There's
it's
just so
a whole
much
different
shit going
vibe
on.
too. I like the idea that it's not just like Western like aesthetic, maybe,
or Serbia,
even culture, really.
Well, and that's the thing is that it's benefited. Like I think Serbia and like the Balkans. I mean, well, they benefited from war, but like or like being cut off from like not being globalized a lot.
Yeah,
they've kind of retained their culture and like their own sense of self, and they're just like, well, and like they're kind of like, we're gonna have fun. Like their whole thing is like, there's gonna be fucking music, there's gonna be culture, there's gonna be art, whatever kind of thing you want.
They hold it in high regard.
Just create that.
Do they hate Americans there?
Didn't
they get bombed by them or something? I don't really know much about that history.
The thing is that they don't, and I've actually had discussions like hanging out there for fucking 3 weeks. Serbians don't like, and like the only time I felt I was scared is when I went to this. It was like the king of Serbia. He built a spa in like 1910. So they have this crazy spa facility, and I was getting a fucking massage, and I was stiff. And so Tina's like, well, they were like, do you want the women or a guy? And I saw this guy. He was a fucking like giant Serbian. I'm like, oh, I want this fucking dude. I want fucking Boris
get in
here.
There. Just put your fingers.
And he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Canada. He's like, oh, have you ever been to Serbia? I'm like, oh, yes, it's my second time. He's like, oh, it's like, oh, you guys probably think that we're all, big evil savages in Serbia, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I love Serbia. Serbia fashion.
That's not what I think at all. No, I actually love you.
With his fucking giant hands just like on my back. I'm like, don't crush my spine,
going around
please.
your neck. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, and I'm not a small guy, but this guy literally like was touching me. I'm like, oh, your hair. I'm like, you can just like poke my spine and just like turn and paralyze me.
Crack it, yeah.
No, the thing is that they're very friendly people, especially young people. Like they are, and the thing is, if you go in there and just talk, and talk with them, they're great. What they don't like is like Western arrogance, because they're like, oh, you guys talk about democracy and this and that, but you guys like literally dropped depleted uranium on us. Like you fucking bombed us for something that wasn't even really like they bombed Belgrade because of shit that was going on in Kosovo at the time, which was like a whole mess. But it's like, okay, ultra ethnic groups, militias are fucking killing each other in Kosovo, so NATO's gonna bomb Belgrade to make the Serbian government comply. Like it didn't make any sense, right?
Yeah,
because there's basically like arms groups being like, okay, let's just bomb something, like, America. Like,
we got these bombs. We got to spend this money.
Yeah. So they're very like, okay.
But they're not super bitter then, I guess, or what?
I think some are.
I feel like you would. I would be if like someone bombed the fuck out of my country and then like started coming to visit me.
You can go. You're fine. I was fine. Like I walked around and I was fine. I never felt threatened or scared. You just talk to them, man. And they're like, America sucks. And you're just like, yeah, America does suck. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm from Canada.
You went in there, you're like,
America does suck.
America's the greatest country ever. I think they'd be like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's refreshing. It kind of sobers you up, because like we always think about like freedom and this and that. And they're like, America bombs places all the time. And like, there's all these, right now, there's a lot of like Western corporations trying to come in and like fuck things over. Like all these mining companies are trying to mine lithium.
Yeah,
because the West wants to be ecologically friendly.
Yeah,
so they're
can't do it there.
To Serbia. And the Serbians are like, so you guys want to like Tina? I went to Tina's like family's village on the Bosnian border, which was this like beautiful hilly country with like these little farms everywhere, and like it was fucking gorgeous. And fucking what's that country? There's that mining company. I forget what they're called. My mind's blank now, but they want to fucking mine lithium.
Mm-hmm.
It's a British company, British Australian, and they want to like, and this is like some of the most continuously inhabited area of fucking Europe. Like people have been there since the fucking Stone Age.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
and
you
try
guys
to kick
want
them
to
all out and then strip mine their shit?
Yeah. They want to pollute because nobody gives a shit about Serbia, right? And I mean, like, again, all we've heard about Serbia is like, we're like, oh, Serbians are violent. Or like, the Balkans are violent.
Yeah. It's funny how, like,
Western media.
Exactly. It's funny how media could just truly shape people's opinions about another place. Like, if you, like, only see one thing all the time, you're like, well, that's just what it is. Which is kind of insane to even think that people who watch mainstream media or whatever and actually just believe stuff like that. Like, do you actually truly believe that there's only like one like view of a place? That's so weird that you wouldn't think that there's a nuanced like whole world of people who live actual lives. You know what I mean? Like,
no, dude,
you just see one thing and you're like, that's it.
And it made me. This is my second time, and I like it. It just reaffirmed the fact that I love the Balkans. And Belgrade is a fucking jewel of a city, man. And the people there are real and they like want life. There's just people live. You go to these bars, there's all these houseboats. There's miles of fucking houseboats called splavs. And there are bars and restaurants. You go there and people are fucking like, you go to a random restaurant and there's music. Like people are just like, we want fucking music. Like they're just like, we want to fucking live. We want to listen to music. We want to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. It seemed like all these little nooks and crannies you've been going to have like live performers, like almost all of them, like bars, and it's like, and it's not even like some like singer-songwriter guy singing Wonderwall or something. It's like all this crazy like music from their culture, you know, which is way better party music, to be real, you know.
Yeah, and there's fucking rock. Like there's this one splav called right by the bridge in Belgrade called Zappa Bar, and then there's one bar and there's another boat which is like an old boat that it converted. And so Zappa Bar, it plays like metal or like hard rock and like some old heavy metal, right? And this other one always has DJs. And they're just like blasting music at each other.
Like they're having a sound system battle?
Yeah. Then
like some Jamaican shit?
Exactly. And then next to him is a fucking like gypsy splav where these gypsies are like blasting music. And you're like, this is fucking crazy. And like, awesome.
You could have like multiple vibes if you want. You could just walk through them.
Yeah. No, it's really refreshing not being in the West, you know? Like, you go there, like to answer your, like, you go there and you're like, okay, like, this is a place that it's all your notions of, or what you think, your worldview gets challenged. But I suggest that any real traveler should go there. And you should talk to people.
Yeah, this is kind of like why I've never really been interested, and I know London is a good city, and you've been there and you had a great time. But for some reason, if I'm going to start traveling, I don't really want to go to Western cities right off the top. Like, I don't really care about England or France or Germany or anything like that. Like, I will not that I don't like them as a places. I'm sure they're like super culturally relevant, but I feel like I'd want to go to somewhere that's almost not completely different, but just like much different than a Western
next summer,
vibe,
man.
You know?
We'll do a fucking former Yugoslavia tour, bro.
Yeah, okay, that works.
We'll hit up Serbia, man. We'll go Serbia, Bosnia, and Croatia. We'll drive through. We'll start in Belgrade.
Just hang out there, and we'll go nowhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll drive through the mountains and into Sarajevo, into Bosnia. But I did stop through Bosnia, and Bosnia was funny because they're like, oh, Bosnia's different, and it was like, what I noticed is that it was basically exactly like Serbia, but there was just like more mosques as opposed to Orthodox churches. I'm like, this is I
wouldn't have thought that it's more Muslim there.
Bosnia is like the Muslim part.
Oh, interesting.
And Sarajevo was like really Sarajevo was apparently awesome, and that's like the really Muslim city. And like the Serbs were like, oh, there's a lot of Islamists, militant Islam coming out of Sarajevo. I'm like, yeah, well, they probably say that you guys are fucking
militant Christians
on some shit. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is it, man. This goes back to like portrayals of people in the media. It's like just like this fucking uniform view, this like small, closed-minded view of people. It's really weird. Like they're not humans too, who just want to eat food and drink and party.
Small differences, man. I know. Then I'm like,
everyone's the same though, in a weird way. Yeah. Like who doesn't want to like hang out with who doesn't want to hang out with a nice community and eat food and drink? That's like every culture on earth, like.
I know.
That's the humanity, yo. That's humanity.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Come to Belgrade, tourist guy. I recommend anybody who's listening to this, if they want to travel, just go to Belgrade. I'll hook you guys up with Airbnbs. I'll tell you where to go.
That he owns. Just so y'all know, disclaimer. No.
That's Svetlana owns. Shout out to Svetlana.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Svetlana's Airbnb. It's fucking dope, and you'll fucking learn because people are fucking cool. And
Hell yeah.
shit's cheap and delicious.
No, it's not cool.
And they live life, man. There's like the regulations. Like people just live like
Mexico. It sounds like Mexico from what you've mentioned.
It's
Like I just imagine mariachi bands in these bars instead of it's like almost the exact same thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just like instead of mariachis, it's like gypsy dudes just show up and they start playing, and you're like, yes, just like give them money. You're like, thank you. But like, there's just people just make the shit. Like it makes you realize all these rules and regulations we have in Canada that we impose on ourselves. Like, you can't make noise, you can't do this. It's like, well,
it's uptight.
In places that don't have that, it's almost better. Like
it's way better.
Like, people would just park on the sidewalks. Like they'd be roads, and all of a sudden the road would just become a one way or one lane because people just all decided to park there. And I'm like, why are they doing that? And Tina's like, well, they can't. Not everybody can get towed. And I'm like, that's a Serbian thing. So
I kind of like lawlessness. I like lawlessness way better.
I'm like, fuck it. Tina's mom, Svetlana, at her Airbnb, she got her boyfriend just to build a fucking patio because nobody had a fucking patio. Yeah. On her building, and she's like, I want a little deck.
Without like regulations, you mean? Without like having to go through a process?
They just randomly built one. Like,
I think that shit's way better because, like, America always like wants to be all like freedom. We think that we have a lot of freedom, which we do here. But it's like then a lot of things like that are, and I guess it's for our own protection. Is that the idea? Like,
in a way,
I don't know.
Like legalities, which kind of makes sense.
But I also like if you fuck up, that's your problem. Like you should have the freedom to be able to do whatever you want, and if you fuck up, that's your problem, and hopefully it doesn't hurt anyone else. But then if it does, that's your problem. You did that,
Yeah, like there's something refreshing about that. There's something like, okay, people are just living. You don't want to hurt. You don't want to be neglected. Like you don't want to like die from neglect. You know what I mean? You don't want to collapse.
But you want to be able to do whatever you want. I think you should be able to do whatever you want, like having a drink in a park or some shit without having to be
there was
scared
bars
about stuff.
Along the river, like along the Danube. I saw one of the days a dude just showed up, had like a bike, and had like a portable bar on a bike, and he was just selling drinks. And some people were just like, "All right, this is a bar now." There was
I think about that all the time.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, I think about that all the time downtown Victoria because it's like there's like a couple of like pizza places, but it's like why isn't there like just food carts all over the street at night? Like why isn't there like a bunch of them? Like why? So then you could spread out the people and instead of like one big lineup at a shitty pizza place. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a. It seems like a wasted opportunity to not have like everything open, like tons of shit going on down there. Like
and
even
I gotta
for
say,
fucking tourists.
Shout out to dude, it's bullshit. Fuck that. Serve the people. Because the thing is, in other places like France, like
is there regulations against it? I don't know. There must be.
It's all in your mind, dude. Because like France is like this, but like even more so, like in the Balkans, like people just want to eat and they take their food seriously, but they're like, I want to fucking eat. And this Balkan barbecue I was saying, it's like their versions of hot dogs and hamburgers and shit, but it's fucking dope. It's like delicious and it's cheap and it's everywhere.
It's like taco
there's
trucks
like
in
little
LA.
stands.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, dude. It's
like, why is that not a thing here? I don't get it. I think you have to like there's like probably this long list of like of different permits that they're allowed to give out, and then they reach their limit, and you know what I mean? Like, because there should be a million of them here. There should just be all over the place.
Dude, it's the best because when you go to these places and you can and there's like little stores open, you can just get like a fucking 60-cent beer and like cigarettes or like a fucking ice cream cone, and you can go get a fucking
Lucy's.
Dude, you can get a fucking handmade you can get a burger that costs you like $2, but it's like the size of your head.
I would say a lot of places outside of North America are like that.
Best. Dude,
that's the funny part of it all. Yeah.
You want to eat, you want to live, man.
There's exactly.
Dude, yeah, I say go. And like even I was at this river along the Serbian-Bosnian border, like fishing. And then there's this little like Tina's like, we'll go get a coffee. I'm like, where? And she like points to this like little shack. And it's like a fucking it looks run down, but it's a restaurant and they sell river fish. Like they have homemade fucking like whole fish they fry for you with a huge salad and homemade bread. And it was like $3 for like a giant plate of food. And you're like,
yummy.
And like, they just are catching fish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And like, that's your fucking, they just decided to do that. It's the shit.
It's freedom, baby. Like what those guys.
Yeah, man. And I did go to London.
Yeah, you did.
What? Go ahead.
No, whatever. You went to London and then you probably had a good old time. Yeah, it's all good. You saw a bunch of shit. You saw
that's
stuff.
the thing. I went to London. I got defended. I went to London to defend to rest because everywhere else was like 30 degrees, 32 degrees, and London was like 19. I'm like, okay, let's go to London.
This is something I remember. This is the kind of weather I'm used to.
Yeah, exactly. But London, dude, London is the shit. Like London is wild. Like London, like I will like, yeah, it is the West. Like but like, dude, it's a city that like it's a timeless city, man. It's like, it's so big and so international. There's so much shit going on, and like, there's music and art and culture and people just walking around. Like you can just spend all day just walking around, going to different pubs.
Yeah,
getting a cheeky kebab at the end of the night.
Yeah, dude, it seems like from what you've mentioned, it lives up to its reputation.
It does. Yeah. I was actually pleasantly surprised.
That's good.
I didn't know if I'd like London or not.
I feel like anyone that's gone there likes it and wants to go back generally. So hey, that'll be you. That'll be me one day. Fuck
bro.
It. That'll be everyone
I'll go back
to
the UK for sure, man. Apparently the other cities are cool too. I'll hit the UK up again. British beer's good. You know what? I went to a conveyor belt, dude. Like there's so much fucking food markets. I went to one place. It was like a sushi conveyor belt spot. Instead of sushi, it had cheese.
Was that
like literally just different cheese. No, in England.
Yeah.
And it was all these different British cheeses, and you just like picked a plate out. Oh, dude, it's fucking
That's pretty funny.
Wild.
Yeah.
It was so good, dude. Kebabs. Shout out to kebabs. Shout out to fucking curry. I got a curry in Brick Lane. Yeah. It was like the curry mile, and it was like, and it's just all these fucking like Indian dudes who are just straight up geezers, like geezers. They're fucking smoking cigarettes, and they're like, come in for a curry. They're all talking shit to each other, like. Dude, it's fucking hilarious, man. Had a curry, fucking, just did some fucking geezer shit, you know? Went to Soho. Chinatown in Soho, good. Vancouver's better Chinese food. Gotta say it.
Of course.
Gotta say it.
That's probably not. Sorry, London. Why would you even argue that?
Our colonial immigration impact is tastier.
Yeah, exactly.
Than yours.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck y'all. But London's cool, man. I'm a traveled man. I don't want to go back to work, man. This is what it's made me realize, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Work sucks, man.
Fuck work.
This is good. I'm glad you finally got there because you're a workaholic there for a while, and dude, I was like worried about you. I was like, dude,
thanks, man.
Working's not that good. I know you're making money and shit, but having no life for working is not worth it. That ain't worth it. I
did that to do this though.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm fucking, dude.
So would you go back home and just get right back into it and just be like, fuck it. Well, I'm going hard again for 8 months and then I'll have another 3 months off.
Maybe. If it means I can do this, yeah. It's motivation.
Yeah. That's true.
You know? 1 minute I'm fucking at Cannes Film Festival, fucking hitting the red carpet. I'm literally walking the red carpet. Fucking passing out. I fucking fell asleep during a fucking screening. Fucking
you're just snoring loudly and everyone's just like looking around like, what the fuck? It's like, and the Cannes, the what is it, the Palme d'Or or whatever they do, goes to, and then you're just like who the fuck is that? Stop that guy.
It was a French movie, so I don't feel that bad. It was a French movie, so I was like, meh. But my actress friend literally took selfies of me. She was like posing, and I was like,
yeah, he loves the movie.
Like, tugs, like fully asleep.
You know what you missed here when you were gone?
What?
A thrilling Heat style bank robbery.
Yes, dude, Heat 2. I thought they were shooting Heat 2, bro.
I think that's what they're doing. In Saanich in Victoria, BC, there is a big ass shootout between cops and like 2 armed gunmen who had like assault rifles. Yeah.
Wild.
It was fucking crazy. You saw the footage.
Yeah, dude, there's like cops still in the hospital, man.
Yeah, the 6 cops in the hospital. Two robbers got killed, and they were like wearing body armor and like had like fucking assault rifles. It was like trippy seeing all the footage of the cops because it's like something obviously you never see very often in BC. Yeah. And then but then they had their assault rifles and their bulletproof vests, and like it was like 5 or 6 of them, just like, and hearing gunfire like that just on the streets of Victoria is pretty crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah,
the most boring fucking town in Canada.
Just like lit up with like gun. Yeah. But who the fuck robs a bank these days? There's just I think there's a limited amount of cash on hand. I think they have the button that they just push as soon as like the people walk in the door now. Everyone's filming everything with their phones. Like there's like tons of footage of people now. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it just seems like stupid.
Those guys were making it. They had the bomb and shit. I think they were doing it to make a state. They were going to take hostages and shit. They were going to do something
like
crazy.
Weren't you saying something about like one of them was like anti-Trudeau or some shit?
They were posting shit. They're like anti-government. It was like those fucking guys from dude. What's with the young guys from the island right now? Those guys are from Duncan.
Oh,
There's
damn.
those two fucking dudes from Port Alberni who were like killing people, then like ended up dying in the wilderness. Remember that a couple of years ago?
Oh, they like
went
on the run, and then they like went up in the Canadian Shield and died. Yeah,
that's
true. You know why, dude? Okay, like I think people like, especially men on the island, and like are like have arrested development. They like they haven't grown into real mature human beings for some reason, and I don't know what it is. Is it the small town mentality? Is it like drugs? Is it like the hopelessness of the world to them? I don't really know, but like there's a lot of like just dumb men on this island.
Well, and these guys, it's like toxic masculinity. Like, not to sound like a fucking weird fair weather ally, but like in both those cases, these guys were like, we want to join. They were like pro-military,
yeah,
and like pro-gun. And like they wanted to like join the military. They had this concept of being like, yeah, like I'm a man, I'm doing this thing, and I'm strong. And they probably were like, Canada sucks. They probably got all this weird propaganda in their head that like Canada's weak right now. Men are weak. You got to do something. You got to be a warrior or some bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they just don't have a lot of direction, and like they're not
that too.
They have no like meaning in their lives, and then they have like that stuff you're talking about, because like small town mentality is like that. It's still like misogynist and things, and like bigoted
like
largely.
Everybody else.
Just drink and do heroin and stay in your house.
Yeah, dude, just smoke meth. You fucking losers.
Don't get body armor and fucking assault rifles and try to go like make a big statement and just get your ass killed.
Or just try
like I bet
to
you.
join
Do you
the
think?
military.
Do you think when those cops showed up, they're just like, fuck, like we didn't think this far through, like we thought we were going to be heroes or some shit.
I think they honestly just in their heads they thought this a way it would go down, and like they probably didn't quite understand the real world ramifications until it was actually going down.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
It's like I don't think any of these guys do. Like
I don't think they know as soon as they cross that line. Yeah, until they cross that line, they don't really realize how real what they're doing is. You know what I mean? Because it's like I think it's all like you're saying. It's like all on the internet and talked about a lot and kind of pushed. Yeah. But then like when they're actually, then they feel like engaged and ready to do it, and then when they get there, they're just like, oh shit, I just did this. like that guy that crossed those state lines in America and then went to that black supermarket and then just like started shooting people randomly. It's like, but he was like captured, wasn't he? Why don't they fucking shoot these guys?
I think, like,
they should be shooting these people.
Yeah.
The cops should be shooting that guy and killing him dead, like.
Well, we know why the cops in the States didn't shoot that guy.
I know. Racism.
Sounds about whites.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think there's a psychology, like when you hear, if you watch any videos or read anything about criminals guys who used to be criminals talk about what got them, like how they kind of fell into the criminal life, it was always at a young age and they wanted to prove themselves.
Like impressionable, yeah.
So I think these guys don't have a direction. They want to prove themselves. They might not be gangbangers, or they might not be.
But in a way they are, though. In a way they are, because they're on these like forums and shit like that with other weirdos who are like, you got to go do this. If you're gonna do it, you just go do it. And they get like, that's sort of a gang in a weird way. Do you know what I mean? Like a bunch of like 4chan motherfuckers all like together, like encouraging each other to do violent acts. Like like almost like not in like in a joking way, in a weird way. It's like joking and serious at the same time. You know what I mean?
Like, it's all young men, dude.
And it's like 18-year-olds and shit, and they're just like, maybe I will do it. And then it's like they get all armored up and go do something dumb.
It's never a 38-year-old mother of 4 in a burqa who fucking blows herself up or in a for ISIS, or it's never a fucking racist white mother who shoots up a black church.
It's like a 20-year-old white man.
It's always a young man. Like, I think there's a connection no matter what sort of violent, you know what I mean? No matter what sort of violent extremism is, there's something about young men that they're in that world, but they want to prove themselves to be adults, and they get taken advantage of in that sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So yeah, what you're saying, they're on forums, and they're like, fuck Trudeau, I'm going to go assassinate. Even there's that guy on the Riverdale, that actor, who like shot his mother, and then he had plans to like go to Ottawa to like shoot Trudeau. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Also, the guy that did break into Trudeau's house and was on his grounds. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people,
dude?
Man?
It's never a fucking 60-year-old Filipino nurse with 3 years left.
You know what though?
2 years.
You know, now that you say that, you know what? It should be.
Man.
It should be though, because that's the one you least expect. We need to radicalize the 60-year-old Filipino fucking housekeeper at the hospital and send her to Trudeau. You know, like, I'm just here to clean the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Surprise, motherfucker! Like, he's just like totally.
You know what
fucking...
though, too? The government has probably fucked her over more than these fucking white 20-year-olds.
Yo, that's the funniest part of all this shit. Exactly, that's a great point. The funniest part of all of it is that these people are not even really hard done by. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, they almost have all the benefits, and they just feel like. But that's the radicalization of the internet, because like, there's like a fucking group of white male type people who are like, you are being erased. They're actually like pushing this weird doctrine, you know?
Blah blah blah. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, well,
erase me, dude.
I'm trying to erase my white side with the sun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get all like tanned up. Yeah, like I hate fucking
high socks on.
I hate in this winter being all pale as shit. You know, dude. Like I gotta hit a tanning booth like Donald Trump style.
Literally, I got shamed for my whiteness in the Balkans. How pale I was.
Really? People make fun of you?
They're like, "What?" They're like, "Jesus!" And then like, I started getting a tan, and her mom was like, "Yeah, you're looking much healthier." I'm like, "Yeah, my chest."
It's true though.
Decreased.
That shit's true, man.
I know. Then you go to England. I'm like, "Oh, jolly good. All right."
Yeah, you blend right in. When I went to LA, it was in like April, so it was like I was coming out of the whiteness, or I was still in the whiteness because of the winter, and then my fucking Mexican family there were calling me white, which I guess I'm half of, but it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Like, because then up here I'm like mostly like they think I'm not white, so it's a weird mix.
It's crazy, bro.
Fucking melanin, bro. Make that white brown.
Melanin, dude. I need some more, dude. I gotta get my tan on, dude. I read a thing on the internet, and this on Instagram. Of course, it's on Instagram. And some person was like, "I'm gonna try my hardest as an ally, not discuss tanning because it's anti-black, to discuss the process of tanning." And I'm just like,
what?
Shut the fuck up.
People go deep, man.
Like,
I love how people like.
So like, you're gonna like scold. Dude,
people run circles in their minds. It's kind of intense. Right. This is why they're all radicalized. They're like, look at these fucking idiots over here, what they're talking about, you know?
Dude, like that's what you think being an ally towards your fucking black friends is not discussing like tanning?
That person has no black friends, man. Let's be real.
Bro.
Like
I don't even like I got so like that's
people.
Terrible.
It's stupid. That's stupid.
People
like good to go. I think people like want to make their lives harder in those respects, like just to be like, see, I'm no, never mind. I was gonna say, see, I'm oppressed too, but it's not. That's not true.
Just tell her they could just tell their like non.
Oh, you outed them.
Like they're not like their white friends. Be like, hey, it's not. You shouldn't talk about tanning because it's actually racist.
Imagine saying that out loud.
It's like what?
Like, shut
dude,
the fuck
imagine
up.
telling, dude.
That's crazy. That's a stretch. People go like full on stretches nowadays with that stuff. They're like doing yoga with this shit. You know, like it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, dude,
it's kind of interesting.
Insane.
But you got to stand on the sideline and laugh. You have to stand on the sideline and laugh. Don't be engaged with that because that's like crazy talk. You know,
it can't be real. Like that can't be real in my mind.
But strangely, it is in that person's mind.
Yeah. This is why America's burning itself alive.
Yeah, it doesn't
people
even
are
know
on Instagram
anymore. It just has no idea anymore what it thinks.
It's crazy being in Europe and getting all these news stories, and I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
And it was, dude, again, talking to Serbians, and they're like, we thought Trump was funny because like Trump was just like the version of America that we all thought you guys were, and then we're like, see,
but you're
not fucking pretending anymore, you dummies.
He literally was. Yeah. That's the thing. Even we could see that. I think in Canada, be like, oh, that's the voice of America. That's why he won. That's why he was popular.
They're like, we thought Trump was hilarious, and Americans panicking because like you got your fucking makeup fell off. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Yep. That's funny. Well, we have bank robberies too. We have guns and shit too. You know.
Yeah, shit gets real in Canada.
So hey,
dude, the idea of Canada being like a nice people like Canada's just nice and safe, and it's just like Yeah, I mean, compared to America, we don't have fucking school shootings, but like, there's still fucking shit going on in any country you go to. There's shit going on.
That's true. Exactly. It's not like when I would go to Mexico, my mom would be all worried, like, oh, but there's gangs all over the place. And I know you hear like the odd story. It was like a shootout on a beach near some hotels that happened, or like people's heads being found. Sure, but it's like there's lots of violent shit in Canada that you don't even hear about, and it's like almost equal to that. Doesn't mean that like like every single state and city in Mexico has like rampant gun violence, or gang violence. Like, I don't know.
You got to get out of your comfort zone, live, man. Like, I'm stuck in Switzerland, and like Switzerland is the safest, most capitalist, boring place in the fucking world, dude. Like, it actually sucks here.
Hey, it sucks. Hey, is that better than here, where I think people to let loose in Victoria and on the island, they go to like raves in the woods, and it's like the most beautiful scenery you've ever seen in your goddamn life, and the cleanest waters, and like these beautiful forests, and then people are just like dancing to like house music and doing like massive amounts of drugs, and then like enjoying each other's company. I know, isn't that like great. That's like that seems like the Shire of like the world, like the most peaceful, happy place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get over my views on it because I always thought it was like mad corny, but I think maybe I'm the corny one, and that's actually really fun.
Yeah. I just can't do that much. That's the thing is like I can never do that. Like I can stay up and party, or I could in my 20s maybe like for one night, like be a greasy boy, do like a bunch of drugs and be like and like one night, and then I'm like,
but not like 3 nights in a row,
dude,
all day every day, dude. Yeah. Dude, I was thinking like I'm like, okay, if I start going to these fucking things, I think I'm just gonna go sober. Like, I'll just buy, like, a 12-pack of yerba mate or some shit and then just, like, pound them all night and then maybe smoke weed, I guess. But just be a sober boy and just, like, avoid all the drug addicts.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Maybe do, like, a tiny bit of mushrooms. Like, maybe do, like, a nib.
Micro? Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being sober, man. But
you
also,
dude,
I realized drinking... Sorry. We did play Rev.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick that we played a rave like along an ocean or along a river, and then that night I did nothing. I was completely sober. I didn't even drink or smoke weed. I just like actually did nothing, and I stayed up all fucking night.
Wait, somehow. You were sober that time?
Yeah, dude. Like a guy even gave me like ecstasy. He was just like, because I had given him some money one time, and he like got me back. He's like, "Here's a pill, bud," and I was like, "Cool." And then I just put it in my pocket and forgot about it. And then
Didn't you give it to me, or you put it in your pocket?
I put it in my pocket. And then I went swimming in my shirt, and then I got all fucked up. But I like basically lost it. But that day I was completely sober the entire day. I didn't even smoke weed, dude. Like,
bro, I was flying.
It was
man.
Still fun.
Sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this. This is the young Mark. I was flying.
Yeah. That
was
you. Yeah, you were the drug guy, and that's fine.
Even when we were performing, dude.
Yeah,
dude, I was so high when we were performing.
I'm not even straight edge. That's the crazy part. Yeah, I remember that actually. You told me that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not straight edge either. I'm not advocating for a straight edge life. I think people should do drugs if they want.
My guy.
Yeah.
You know what's nice though? You go to Europe, and this is what kind of fucks me up about Canada and the UK and the UK for a lot of it. Is that like people here could just like you go to a restaurant. I even talked about this. You go to a restaurant and you can just hang out at a restaurant as long as you fucking want, or a cafe, or a bar, and you can have literally one fucking drink.
But how long would you stay?
Like people don't fucking binge drink, dude.
Oh,
like people aren't just like pounding. Like people are getting drunk. Like there are people that like. It's not to say nobody gets drunk, but like. You just go to a fucking bar and you just drink. Like you just fucking sip something. You just like if you just start drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Like well, no, you're there to drink, but
you're there to socialize. You're not there to get like.
You're there to socialize, dude.
You're not there to like just like pound beers and get fucked up, and then see what happens.
No.
You're just sort of
the UK. People are getting fucking like. I mean, I love going to London and having a cheeky pint. Like having a pint and sitting around. But like, dude, you go to like. You go to fucking everywhere else I've been in Europe. You fucking drink. You drink fucking like just slowly. It's the shit.
You think that's actually a marked difference from here, from North America? Like, dude, it's like
yeah. Well, you don't really go to bars or anything.
I don't
But like
know.
in bars in Canada, people are just like, you're just fucking drinking. Like you're just drinking. And servers leave you alone. Servers don't bug you.
Yeah.
They just let you live. You go to and you flag them over if you want
Until you
something.
need them. Yeah. So that's the whole bar culture there, I guess. That's like a
shit.
thing that they have going on, you know?
Bro.
It ain't no fucking raving in the woods, though.
It's no fucking pounding fucking, it's no fucking boofing fucking ecstasy.
Yeah.
It's no fucking, you're not skiing like Tony Montana.
Yeah.
No, dude, drinking and hanging out. I drank a liter of fucking hard alcohol, though. I went to a Serbian wedding.
Yeah.
Dude, I drank a liter of fucking this homemade rakia. It's called rakia. It's the brandy. This one is a plum. Slivovitz. It's made from plums. Dude, I drank a fucking liter of it, and I survived.
I think straight liquor's the shit. I've been just pounding like a whole thing of tequila, like a 2.6. I've been like hanging out with this person, and we like one time shared that and like stayed up all night and didn't drink anything else. But it was like energetic, and it didn't ever make us feel like wasted.
And you drink water. You pound water too.
Yeah, in between, and then it was just like perfect. Yeah, I think like one liquor for the whole night is like the shit.
And
like straight, nothing else.
Yeah. I ate. I timed myself every 45 minutes. I would have a shot, or like I would drink.
Yeah.
But like I timed myself, and like if I felt like I was getting too drunk, I would like prolong it, and I would eat.
Yeah.
And like so by the end I was like
responsible
lit.
drinking.
I was lit.
Yeah.
And I was like dancing, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to hit the red line, man. You want to just like stay right below it and just be like cruising on a good high.
At one point, one of Tina's cousins saw me drinking rakia, and he was like, his eyes were in different directions. He's like, you must slow down. This rakia is very strong. Slow down. And I was like, my guy, you were drunker than I am.
Yeah.
Like he was wasted.
I'm actually pacing myself.
Be careful. Slow down.
Shit.
And he was fucking bombed. And I was like, dude, I woke up the next morning, and like Tina's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. She's like, you drank a liter of rakia. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but if you pace it out over the night with like food and water, you're
paced
good. It's not that bad.
And they fucking love me. All this, like every time I went to like Serbs are always like, how's the food? Like you meet them and they're like, do you like Serbian food? I'm like, I love it. They're like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Because they just feed you. It's probably like that in Mexico. Like you go to somebody's house,
I know.
And somebody's aunt is like, oh yeah, eat this. And if you finish something, they give you more.
Yeah.
They put more shit on your plate, so you have to like eat half of it.
I feel like that's like almost every culture other than Western culture is like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
there's
like
that meme going around right now in like Sweden. There's like that joke where it's like some guy went to a friend's house in Sweden, and they're like, I have to go have dinner now, and he just like went downstairs, like left the friend in his room and had dinner with his family.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. It's literally like that. It bees like that. Unless you're like explicitly invited over for dinner, it's like weird like that, you know? Like, but just kind of fucked because like almost every other one is like, hey, as soon as you arrive, they're like, do you want something to eat? Like they're like on you about it, you know? Like
I'm out, dude. That's the thing, man.
Like they want to make sure that you're comfortable, basically. You know, it's like, do you want something to drink? Do you want something to eat? Are you good? It's like yes, or it's like, maybe you are hungry, and you're like, yeah,
that's how it is,
hungry.
man. That's how you do it.
That's how it should be. Yeah,
dude, that's how it should be, bro.
All right. Well, we solved all the world's problems.
We did.
With that.
Travel the world. Go to Eastern Europe and go to somewhere in the world where it's uncomfortable, guys.
Yeah.
Go somewhere that you're kind of scared of. That's my advice.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it. You'll fucking enjoy it.
You'll learn something about yourself and life, maybe.
All right. And I'll see you in a fucking 2 months still. Dude,
I know you're still there. Maybe we'll get one more of these off. Just so everyone knows, like, we haven't been doing this shit because he's in fucking Europe cruising around. And I'm just.
But this is why I work like a madman.
Yeah.
I'm out here. My life's a movie.
For 3 months. Then you're filming movies. Yeah.
And then I'm a fucking idiot.
Then you're filming those fucking movies. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm filming the movies. All right. Peace.
Hopefully we'll talk again one more time while you're there. Okay.
Never.